Today's speakers are two members of the Future Business Leaders of America Club at Illinois Central College, who also happen to be members of the Central Illinois Rotary Club at Illinois Central College. As part of their community service project for Future Business Leaders of America, they've created a presentation on Tech Talk. It's common scams that many people might fall victim to. They recently gave this presentation in March at Independence Village in Peoria, and were actually asked back 2 or 3 times since presenting this. So Scott, are you equating us with a retirement home? No. While some of us might qualify, for the rest of you, we encourage you to take the handouts that have been placed on the table and go over it with your parents, your aunts and uncles, or any other loved ones who use technology. As the son of an 86-year-old mother who uses technology, this information is very useful. And we often get questions from my mom on things that, while I love that she uses technology, she can easily fall prey to these, some of the things we're going to talk about. I'll have the 2 students introduce themselves during the presentation, and at the end, after the meeting, students are willing to do their best to assist anyone with a question or setting that you might have on your cell phone or device that might be causing you a problem, but that will be after the meeting. So with that ado, please welcome our 2 members, Esther and Megan.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Esther David. I go to Illinois Central College, and I'm an international business major.
Hi, I'm Megan Miller, and I was a student with ICC, and I am a business major there. So, as Mr. Paulson said, we are doing Tech Talk. Now, like he said, yes, our first place that we did this at was Independence Village. But this information does not just apply to seniors. This applies to everyone, because some of the information that we've talked about, even as we were talking to them, I realized I have fallen victim to some of it. I've talked to my nephews. My nephew has fallen victim to some of it, and he is 16. So it's an all ages appropriate kind of information. So some of this is, Bridging Generations is a very apt name for this, truly. So as we go through this, keep that in mind, as he said. Share it, use it for yourself, share it with everybody. But first, we need to know, why does technology safety matter? Because that's a lot of what we talk about here is the technology safety. It's not just a, hey, this doesn't work. Did you unplug it, plug it back in? As Jeff said to us earlier today, which sometimes that is what you have to do. Did you turn it off, turn it back on? Sometimes that fixes it. That is true. But safety actually is really important in this digital age that we live in. And so that's where this goes. So, there we go. So, some of this, first of all, we need to know about protecting our personal information. Our personal details are valuable, because if we don't have proper safety, and we've heard the word hackers, right? And we've heard that for how many decades now, right? There's been movies called Hackers, right? But they are out there. They want to try and get our information. They want to use it for fraud. So there are cyber attacks. So cyber attacks are these attacks by these hackers, these people that are trying to get our information and through computers, through programs, and trying to get financial information for their own gain, but they're trying to get our personal information. So phishing, if you don't know that term, kind of like actual phishing, they're trying to act like they are from a real company and trying to get you to release your personal information to them. That's, they do that. And we're going to show a couple examples throughout here of what that can look like. And we can fall victim to that. Also, malware is common. Malware is software technology. It's specifically meant to disrupt damage, or gain unauthorized access to your computer, to your cell phone. We hear about that also, data breaches, right? We've all heard about the data breaches that happen with different companies. Unfortunately, there's probably not one of us in this room, and well, they're not, they're still not here, but unfortunately, even the kids have probably had a letter in their name that was sent to them about their information being breached. And I'm saying this pretty confidently because I have children that have had, I've gotten letters saying their information was breached already. And it's sad that that's the way it is now. But keeping your devices safe is very important because we have important data on there. So we need to make sure we have updates for, you know, your phones, your computers. Make sure those updates are installed because those are that's going to keep things going. Security updates are included in there if you don't notice. You know, if you read through there, it will say security updates are included on that. Also, antivirus software can be very important, but make sure what you're using for antivirus software. And then avoiding scams. There's online scams. We're going to talk about some of those scams here in a little bit as what type of online scams are going around. If you don't recognize it, don't do it. Again, we're gonna talk about what those can look like, what links, you know, to look for, and things like that. So there are simple ways that we can stay safe. Staying vigilant. Again, being cautious with your personal information, your financial details. Don't be sharing your bank name, your account number, your social security number, your phone number. If they contacted you and then they're asking you for your phone number, why would they need that? They already know it. That's something to just think about. And then passwords. You know, you don't need to share your password with people that have called you or you've called. That there's things to, sometimes this is common sense, but sometimes we get busy thinking about the business that we're dealing with. You know, if we're calling because we're having trouble with our account or, you know, and we forget, we don't think about because we have so many details going on. We don't think about maybe this isn't information that they actually need to have from us. So we only want to be providing information to trusted sources about, and after verifying that they're legitimate. But how do we verify the source? That's a very important question. So reach out to the organization or the person, because if they called us, how do we know they're real? Well, you might want to just say, you know what, I'm going to call you back. So official contact methods, a lot of times, you know, you may get a number that calls you and you don't recognize it. You can always hang up, call them back. A lot of times go to the website and make sure you're, you know, if it's a government, you know, place, irs.gov, find the phone number, you know, make sure you have it. Look for warning signs though, if it's an urgent request, if there's poor grammar in this text or this email, if it's something that seems too good to be true, it probably is, right? Unfortunately, we like things that are gonna be, you know, fast cash or things like that, but unfortunately, we should know that that's not going to be the case. Web addresses that aren't quite correct. What if we have the case of, you know, TexasRoadhouseFans.com, but really we want TexasRoadhouse.com. You know, there's a lot of those sites out there, even on Facebook now. There's so many of them. So we have to be very vigilant. Also suspicious links. If there's a link or a download, now we get emails. Thank you for, make sure you pay your invoice. Thank you for your order. And it comes with an attachment. I get a lot of these. And I will check with my husband. Did we order something from this place recently? Nope. Okay. Don't open the attachment because that can have hidden malware that's going to infect your device, whether it's your phone or your computer. So again, something that's suspicious, very important, because that malware can get in there and it can be getting information off, getting in there, getting your passwords, getting any financial information you've saved to your device. These are very important things to protect ourselves from. We are going to be going over things such as the strong passwords here, and then monitoring your accounts regularly though also, because we do put in our financial information on websites when we buy things. So monitor your accounts, know your financials, check your credit card statements, check your banking statements, make sure you don't have charges happening that you're not aware of. Even when we do have those financial institutions, usually we'll flag the items that they know or see as fraud and will often check with us and say, this looks like a fraud issue. Is this right? Do you want to decline this? A lot of times they will give it us, but just in case, monitor your own financials. That's very important because you can call them. You can use the number on the back of your physical card and call them. Don't necessarily trust them contacting you because I've even had the texts that come to my phone saying, oh, this looks suspicious. And I'm like, that doesn't seem quite like the right number that it's coming from. And so you call the number on the back of your card and say, hey, I don't recognize this. I'm not sure it was really you asking me about this charge, but no, this charge isn't right. But always use the number on the back of your physical card. And then being educated about these scams that we're going to talk about. And then making sure that when you are online, using the secure websites. So up there, if you see that bottom symbol, notice how, oh my goodness, I am so sorry. Not the sacred commons. Okay.
Meeting's over.
Yeah, meeting's over.
No. You have the hand. Okay. The bottom one shows the lock. Very important. So there will be websites that say HTTP, but you really want to say HTTPS. You're going to see is through some of the screens more of it, but having the lock, having it say HTTPS is going to show that it's more secure. And that is important as we go through some of these slides. So there's a lot of this that is going to help you know that the sites you're on is safer for you to be there as you're doing your transactions, your browsing, your doom scrolling, as we do on those sites. And then trusting your instincts. Some of us, we have good instincts and we'll be like, this is not looking right. Maybe we had a slip of the finger, we typed it wrong. And we know it's just not quite right. Back out of it. Or if we're not sure, phone a friend. That's okay. Phone a friend. Maybe you know somebody who's just a little more tech savvy than you, or maybe has bought from the same place. Call them. Say, hey, does this look right? Does this seem right? Do you think this is safe? Call a couple people. That's okay. Take your time. Nothing is so important that has to be done right now. And that's good. But trust your instincts and verify what you're doing, because it's important for you to be safe with your information and your financial stuff. So I'm going to hand it over to Esther because she's going to get into some of the common scams, because there are a lot of them, yes, but there are some that are a lot more common going around and how they actually, how they're approaching us with some of this information.
Okay, so since we went over a couple of ways on how to recognize and to keep yourself safe online, we can talk about the common scams to watch out for. Now, there's a lot of these scams going around, and there are so many different types. But I did a little research, and I went to a government organizational research link, and they gave me the top 7 scams that everyone should look out for. Now, the first one that they said are fake investigation scams. Now, fake investigation scams are like those messages, those emails that come to you and they're like pretending to be from your bank, FedEx, Amazon, IRS, especially since right now is tax season. And they're like, hey, there's a fraud in your account, or a wrong transfer happened, or you purchased something, as the example was given before, and they may ask you like, hey, can I get your information? Can you confirm this? Can you send gift cards? Can you click this link and I can, handle this for you? Now, ways to watch out for this scam in particular are phrases like, we detect fraud in your account. Stay online for instructions, right? Or you might get we sent you money by mistake. Please send it back, right? Now, these are things that you can watch out for in particular. And also, if you notice some of these scams, when you click the link or when you do interact with it, you may have trouble closing the window or on your computer, or it keeps flashing you, or maybe like your screen goes dark and you're like, what is going on, right? That's happened to me before. But there's just things to watch out for and to look for in the communication process. And also, next, the number 2 is phishing scams. Now, phishing scams, as we said before, is when they're trying to reel you in and get your information. So they can't get your information without you interacting. So they will tell you like, hey, give me your information. Or they'll send emails, they'll send texts, they'll send they'll be like, send your password to confirm, stuff like that. And for these scams in particular, you should watch out for phrases like, your account is compromised, click here to reset your password. If you're not particularly saying that you want to reset your password, it's very unlikely that a company will call you or contact you and tell you to do that, right? So just make sure to verify these emails, these text messages, and we'll talk a little bit later about how we can recognize them. Number 3 are health insurance scams. Now, health insurance scams, everybody probably have experienced this at least once. So it's when they're like, you need a new Medicare, you need a new Medicaid, you need to upgrade your Social Security number, stuff like that. And they may say, we're charging you a fee for you to do this action, and they may say a small fee will help you, right? If you're not contacting them first, most likely, once again, it's most likely a scam. Now, number 4 are investment scams. Now, these are scams that promise you a big profit. As we said before, if it sounds too good to be true, then it's most likely too good to be true. And you can watch out for phrases that rush you, like, this deal won't last. Do this now, or it won't be there later. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Be sure to be mindful of that, because scammers use the rush in order to get you to be engaged. Next, these 2 ones, romance scams and grandparent scams, can be put together. Now, romance scams, I feel like we've all heard this before. People are like texting you social media, make you be like, oh, we're friends, or oh, we're in a relationship, oh, this, send money, and we've seen this probably on Dr. Phil, on all these different, shows. But in order to avoid this, make sure that you watch out for phrases that include money in it, right? So they're constantly asking you for money, even if it's $10, $25. Money is still money, right? So these stuff add up, and so you should be sure to watch out for those types of scams as well. And last but not least, tech support scams. So these are scammers that are pretending to be from tech support, like Amazon, as we said before. And so there's pop-ups, like have you ever been on a website and there's like a pop-up link at the bottom, and they're like, click here, go to this website. So for this, you have to watch phrases for like viruses and that sort of things in order for you to send money or for them to have access to your computer and to the links in your passwords on your computer. So those are just a few of them.
Yeah. And then if you spot a scam, what we want to do is, and this is the slide up here is showing some examples like checking the lines in the email is, first of all, just stay calm. If you are able to tell that you have a scam email, just don't panic, as we've said. Don't engage with them. If you get a suspicious phone call, just hang up. Don't engage with them. It's not worth it. Sometimes we think it's fun to engage with them when we know it's a scammer. Oh, we're going to waste their time because they want to waste ours. But just don't mess with them, but it is important. Report them. We can do that. The FTC actually has a place that we can call and report them. So, but when we do know that we need to, if we are concerned that maybe there is something we need to deal with, like we said, call phone number of the agency, whether it's the credit cards, IRS, any of those places. Make sure, and just protecting our information. Not sharing it over the phone, not sharing it through email. Protecting that information is so important because legitimate credit card institutions, there we go, is the word. The IRS, utility companies, they're not going to call. They're not, and ask for you to give all of those details over the phone. That's not going to happen. That sensitive information is not. They're not going to be asking you to provide all of those details. And warn others. Scammers are going to thrive when people don't know about it. So you can tell them, hey, you know what? I've been getting this text about tolls that are unpaid. How many of us have been getting those texts lately? And multiple times. Yeah. But if we know about it and we know to just delete it and block it, it's going to have to go away. And these scammers are now working on finding other ways to scam people. And just think before we act. Yes, some of this we're repeating because if we don't repeat it, we aren't going to remember it. And again, just, hanging up on them, telling a trusted family member, again, just talk to somebody. It's okay. And again, just being, we have places that, are checking it. If you notice, these emails that come from places that say, hey, does this look suspicious? You see this email here? A high severity alert has been triggered. What? Does that look a little suspicious? Mm-hmm. Are we going to act on that? Maybe let's see where it really came from, check who the sender really is, and then maybe talk to somebody and find out. Maybe don't reply to it, and the NSA. Do we think the National Security Department's really going to email little old me? Maybe not, so this is what we have to think about. So using strong passwords where we combine letters, numbers, special characters, keeping our antivirus software and having it updated, but avoid adding software or apps unless necessary to our devices is very important, and think about, are we going to use them often? Or if we quit using apps and software, take it off our device. That can be very helpful. because it keeps less stuff on there that can be hacked or have to be updated constantly. Using a lock screen on our phones with the PIN, backing up our data is important, and being cautious with the Wi-Fi, because we've heard, you know, if we're on Wi-Fi at home, it's going to be more secure. You get on public Wi-Fi, you're going to McDonald's, Starbucks, Panera, wherever, and you're using that public Wi-Fi, and you always have to consent to using that public Wi-Fi. That is not as secure. So being cautious with that, and disabling unnecessary features. You keep that Bluetooth on all the time. I know some of us have the Bluetooth because we'll have a smartwatch. Some of us have Bluetooth or whatever. We have our glucose meters, you know, but you know, if we don't have those, disable. So like I said, if we don't have those, disabling different features that we don't need, like location services and stuff on our phone, very important, because there's a lot of things going on there. Making sure our online shopping and banking is very important. There's a lot of various ways to keep ourselves safe. And then also, like I said, the tolls. Now Kaspersky on here is not, I don't know we have it in here on the picture, but Kaspersky is no longer a trusted antivirus. So if you see that on there, sorry. But then, and that's just some more, you know, our permissions, you know, just making sure that we have things going through there. You know, that lock is very important. And then the shopping and online banking, again, thinking about where are we shopping? Where are we doing our banking? Is it safe? Is it secure? And our passwords. And not sharing that information. I know we have information on the handouts as well. And I know we had a little bit more information to share, but our time kind of got a little bit compressed, but that's okay. I know you guys had a lot of business to do today. That was very important for a lot of people because there's a lot of great things you guys have been doing. So, okay, so we do want to take a few questions, and I hope that everybody gets some good information off of there. So, questions? Are there any questions?
I've heard that Apple devices are immune to malware. Is that correct?
Apple will tell you they are.
So Apple does a really good job at keeping your information safe, and that's why you have that automatic updating and factors like Face ID and stuff like that. So Apple does do a good job with that, but there's still a chance that, you know, scams can happen. And so it's just very good to keep track of what you're doing and how you're doing it, even on an Apple device, because I have one and I'm like, I don't usually worry about it, but, you know, just to keep safe.
Okay, I was hacked,
Do
and
we
I want to
know?
know how these people get your password. And mine was strong. I mean, it was like, how in the world? Well, somebody said you need to change them periodically.
Yeah.
How do they know they even have part of it right?
So now, like, everything is so different, like it changes constantly because technology is growing every single time. So one way that I can say that is possible is if you clicked a link or if you went on a website that was not secure, it's very easy for them to be able to get into it. And so what they do is that they use that link, they use that website, and they just stay on your computer. They have access to it once you get on it. So yeah, that's most likely the way. And it's good to update your password at least once a month, you know, just to keep safe. Yeah, that's a lot.
So kind of to that point, I've got a family member and I love her dearly, but
she's on Facebook, and I think a lot of those games or things you can interact with that might ask about, your pet's name or your birth month or things like that. Those are often common passwords because we remember them. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that might impact someone guessing your password in a sense?
Yeah. That's actually a really good piece of information because they do use that. Facebook, people are usually like, oh, it's just my friends, it's just my family. But those links that they give you, like those news links, those website links, those game links, it's a really easy way for them to get into your phone and your computer, especially when you do give out that personal information. That information, like your dog's name, for example, is something that you use. Or if you go on a link or a website and they're like, they give you a security question, right? And they're like, what was your first dog's name, right? Have any of you been through that? Yes, that's something that they can also use as well.
And to add to that, so a good thing to do if you want to, when you're answering those security questions, don't use the real answer. No, seriously. Or if you're going to use the real answer, change a letter. And then also when it comes to passwords, it used to be that you would just do just multiple, characters and digits and a special character. But now it's actually kind of become known that it's better to use, say, a word and then a number and another word and a character. So say you went Rotary 25 International exclamation point. And that's going to be a little bit stronger because the way that most of these hackers are doing, the way it used to be, is that they're running a program that is rolling through a cipher. And as it hits one digit or letter, it goes to the second and the next and the next and the next. And that's how it works. But when it's actually words and phrases that it's working on, it makes it a little bit harder for them to get it. But yeah, I mean, that's why you'll notice that a lot of programs are reminding you, you ought to change your password every, 30, 60, 90 days.
I'll be your final question, then you're going to be around afterwards to answer questions from anybody. Mine's more not a question, but I get common emails from places like Netflix, even places you can shop from, whatever, saying, hey, you need to update your payment method. Well, I don't even have a payment method with them, but what I'll do is go up and click on who sent it to me. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't say netflix.com or something in there, or do not reply Netflix, and it's referring to Netflix, it says June Simpson 5650, whatever, that's not real.
Yeah,
and exactly. So I will let Netflix know. I'll get online and let them know that they've got this address going around with their name. But I found that to be very, very common.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say about it.
No, and that's great. And that's great. And that's the thing is, if you have stuff happening like that, and even if, like you say, you do have Netflix, go to Netflix's actual website. Don't click on anything in that email. Go to their website and then sign in instead of signing in through the email, just in case. Because again, that's a way to protect your information. So, yep.